They said the well was a maw, a hungry mouth that swallowed secrets and spat out madness. They said my bloodline was tainted, marked by a darkness that seeped from its depths. But whispers, like shadows, have a way of clinging, of refusing to be ignored. And the whispers that clung to my family's name, the name Blackwood, demanded answers. Elara. It began with the locket, a relic passed down through generations, each touch leaving a chill. It pulsed with a life of its own, a faint metallic heartbeat that echoed the unease in my soul. And the dreams. They were more than dreams. They were glimpses, fragments of a story buried deep, a story the well was determined to tell. Back to the well, Elara lowers a rusted bucket, the chain rattling against the stone. A luminous mist rises, swirling around her like ghostly tendrils. The bucket hits something solid. Elara, voice trembling but resolute. What are you hiding? What did they do? She pulls up the bucket, revealing a weathered wooden box. Inside, a faded photograph, a cryptic note, and a small leather-bound journal. The note spoke of a hidden treasure, a legacy of power and darkness, and a name that echoed through the town's hushed legends. Silas Blackwood. The photograph showed a gathering of stern-faced people, their eyes reflecting an unnerving intensity. And in the center, Silas, his gaze piercing, his presence radiating an ancient, unsettling power. The journal, filled with cryptic entries and unsettling sketches, hinted at rituals, sacrifices, and a pact with something beyond comprehension. Seen, Elara delves into research, scouring old newspapers, dusty archives, and online forums. The information she uncovers is fragmented, unsettling. Silas Blackwood, a man of wealth and influence, a collector of arcane artifacts, and a recluse whispered to have communed with forces beyond the veil. The town's history was stained with his name, with tales of disappearances, strange occurrences, and a pervasive sense of dread. The journal spoke of a ritual, a convergence of power, a bargain sealed in blood. A sacrifice, they called it, an offering to appease a hunger that could never be satisfied. Elara visits the local library, a place of hushed whispers and forgotten knowledge. She discovers a hidden journal, tucked away in a restricted archive, filled with disturbing entries and unsettling sketches. The journal detailed the rituals, the chants, the offerings. It spoke of a being, a presence that dwelled in the shadows, a hunger that fed on fear and despair. And the disappearances. They weren't random. They were orchestrated, calculated, a dark symphony conducted by Silas Blackwood. Seen, Elara begins to experience strange phenomena. Shadowy figures follow her, their presence felt rather than seen. The locket hums with increasing intensity, its light pulsing with an eerie rhythm. The locket was a key, a conduit. It amplified the whispers, intensified the shadows, drew the darkness closer. I was no longer just uncovering the past. I was becoming a part of it. The town, once a place of quiet normalcy, became a stage for a macabre drama, a dance of shadows and secrets. Elara discovers a hidden passage beneath the well, leading to a subterranean chamber. The chamber is adorned with strange symbols and ancient artifacts. A cold, whispering presence fills the air, voice echoing, distorted, malevolent. You shouldn't have come. You shouldn't have disturbed the slumbering shadows. Elara discovers a hidden compartment containing a small obsidian mirror. As she gazes into it, she sees a reflection that isn't her own, a distorted, malevolent face, its eyes filled with ancient malice. The mirror was a gateway, a portal to the darkness Silas Blackwood had unleashed. It reflected not my own image, but the face of the entity he had summoned, a being of pure malevolence, a hunger that craved the locket, the legacy, and my very soul. Seen, Elara is pursued by the shadowy figures, their forms becoming more tangible, more threatening. She flees through the abandoned Blackwood mansion, a labyrinth of dark corridors and echoing chambers. The mansion, once a symbol of wealth and power, became a prison, a maze of shadows and echoes. The figures pursued me, their forms shifting, their voices whispering promises of power and terror. The locket pulsed with blinding light, a beacon in the darkness, a desperate attempt to ward off the encroaching evil. Climax. A confrontation in the chamber beneath the well. Elara faces the entity reflected in the mirror, its voice a cacophony of whispers and screams. Narrator, the entity demanded the locket, the key to its freedom, the instrument of its return. It offered power, knowledge, immortality. But I knew its promises were lies, its gifts a poisoned chalice. I had to make a choice. Embrace the darkness that was my inheritance, or break the cycle forever. Elara makes a decisive action, using the locket to seal the mirror, banishing the entity back into its prison. The chamber trembles, the shadows recede. Narrator, the mirror shattered, its fragments scattering like shards of darkness. The entity's screams echoed through the chamber, a final, desperate plea. The whispers died, replaced by a heavy, oppressive silence. The darkness receded, but the weight of its presence remained, a chilling reminder of what had been. Final scene. Elara stands at the edge of the well, the locket gone, the mirror shattered. She looks up at the starlit sky, her eyes filled with a newfound resolve. Narrator, the secrets were no longer buried, but the echoes of their revelation lingered. I knew my journey was far from over. The darkness had been banished, but its tendrils still reached, its influence still lingered. But I was no longer afraid. I had faced the shadows, and I had emerged stronger, wiser, ready to confront whatever darkness remained. Ending shot. A slow zoom on Elara's face, her expression a mix of weariness and determination. The camera pans out to the peaceful, starlit sky, a stark contrast to the darkness she had just confronted. A final, lingering whisper echoes in the wind. Narrator, the well was silent, its secrets finally laid to rest. But the echoes of its whispers remained, a haunting reminder that some shadows never truly disappear. They simply wait, dormant, until the time is right to rise again.